final decision. Let's talk about this, though, with our legal expert and attorney, Whitney Boan. Whitney, always good to see you.
Good to see you.
So I'm looking at some of these conditions of his parole. He can drink alcohol, he can smoke weed, and he's got to obey all the laws. That sounds like me. Am I on parole? I'm not on parole, am I?
On parole, Bob, but a different kind, maybe.
Yeah.
So, no, he's going to be restricted in terms of who he can associate with. He's not going to be able to possess firearms. And by who he can associate with, I mean he's not supposed to be with people who he knows to be criminals or who he knows to have been convicted of crimes. He will be able to smoke weed if he has a legal prescription for medical marijuana, right, or if he's somewhere where I guess it's legal and he's abiding by the laws. If he comes to Florida, I think you know here, he may have a harder time doing that. And it's interesting because I think his motivation to come to Florida is partially motivated by being with family, but as you also know, we have homestead exemptions here. True. And we have some pretty strict laws in terms of being able to recover money from private individuals that relate to where they live, taking their homes from them. That's not very easy to do here, so I don't know if that plays into it or not.
You're saying he's still going to have some issues with the Goldmans who are still trying to recoup some of that money from the civil suit?
Yes, I believe he owes upwards of $50 million with interest at this point in time after a $30-something million judgment several years ago. So,
tell me the truth, Whitney. If this was anybody but OJ Simpson, would we have gotten back this answer to his parole so quickly? They did in like 15, 20 minutes.
No, they released a statement, the Nevada Board of Parole Commissioners, prior to the hearing, stating they were going to make the decision that day as opposed to giving it about 2 weeks to kind of talk about it and mull over it and have two people in Las Vegas versus in Carson City, where they had 4 for this hearing, because they didn't want this to be a distraction from them being able to carry on with normal activity and other parole hearings.
The guys who actually held the guns and who hit the people in that hotel room in Vegas, they got probation. He got 33 years in jail. Clearly, the murders of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman, that played into this. Are you surprised they let him go? Because it probably was still on their minds.
I think the Parole Commission was charged with a pretty different job, but that they have a lot of set criteria that they're supposed to consider when releasing anybody, and not wanting to probably make their jobs more difficult and draw more attention to it. I think they were very thorough in following their own guidelines and their own criteria in determining that they would release him for that. I don't know that they were trying to rectify a sentence that may have been disproportionate based upon OJ Simpson's accusations of killing Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman 20-some years ago, and what he got sentenced to in this robbery and kidnapping case. But I think that they did what they were supposed to do, and they appeared to follow the rules appropriately.
Okay, well, we will see in about 45 days whether or not OJ Simpson is going to be our new neighbor here in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah. Whitney, always good to see you. Thanks so much.
Good to see you.
Okay.